Positivity is key, without a doubt. I'm a positive person. I'm very happy, always have been, but I've been challenged a lot during this little, hopefully short, weird time, bizarre time in the world. And I've actually found it hard to stay positive on some days. One day you couldn't make me smile. There was no doubt about it. I was stuck with my 3 kids screaming at me, come on, let's get in the pool, let's do this, let's do that. But I was running out of ideas, and I was absolutely shattered, to be totally honest. And the next day, I just knew that, no, I can't let that day happen again. So I got up, went for a run, jumped in the pool, freezing cold, just try to, liven up for the day. And it's important to keep yourself on track. Definitely positivity is the number one. Our playlist is getting smashed. Frozen 2 soundtrack is number one. Just over and over and over. And you know what? I'm okay with it. The kids are learning some things. They're singing the words, and I'm actually picking up a few chords and songs and singing to them to get them all going in the family jive. But we've gone back to old school. Pearl Jam had a new album out, so we gave that a bit of a hit out. A lot of our friends out there have released new albums at the moment, and so we're trying to support them, particularly in Australia, as much as possible. But we've gone back to Willie Nelson, Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers, obviously he's passed away, and John Prine passed away today, which is very sad. And so all those old country artists we've just been shuffling on Spotify replay. Well, there's a lot of things that inspired it. Huge fan musically of Paul Kelly and Crowded House and Bruce Springsteen and The Cars and R.E.M. and all these bands. But I'm the youngest of 8 kids, 4 boys, 4 girls in our family. And one of my brothers, who doesn't have a musical bone in his body, but the only one who doesn't, he just had a good taste in music though. So from an early age, all those bands I mentioned, I was listening to those music, their albums, their records. I was just fascinated. So, I owe a lot to my brother Patrick, I suppose. You'll be happy hearing that. He's the bloke that can't sing in the family. I used to write the lyrics down, press stop, play, rewind, on the cassette player, and used to write the lyrics down. And that's why, that's where I became fascinated with lyrics and writing, as well as melody, but that component of it, which is what I mainly bring to the band. Favourite part of the creative process? It changes with whatever I'm doing, but I've got to say my playing live is unreal. It's magic. I know we're away from home a lot, and we complain about getting on the road, and we can't wait to get home, and you work all day, and no one sees that, the gutter side of it, I call it. No one sees that, where the crew and the band are just muscling on to get to a gig. It could be a 10-hour drive one morning. And you complain about the whole time how tired you are and how hungry you are and how much sleep you need, and then you get to the gig that's only lasts for an hour and you walk off stage and go, I can't wait for tomorrow. Daddy Daycare was sensational, as I kind of mentioned week 1, 2, but you heard me talking off air. I've been struggling bad. My friends think I'm brushing them. They think I'm struggling mentally because I actually can't answer the phone. I've got a 1-year-old that's loud and proud to be loud, and it's 4, 3, and 1-year-old. So the challenge is endless. But you know what? It's time to harden up. Get up out there, and it's tricky that the parks are closed. You can't go to the sanctuary. You can't go to the amusement parks. The beach is sort of still weird. So we do as much as we can. But I've got to say, I'm not one for letting them watch movies, but today was one of those days where I didn't care. I said yes to everything. I was always the goody. I've got a bunch of cousins that are loose cannons, and obviously this is where this comes from. But I always wanted to one-up them, so, I knew that sneaking the first dart, as we called it back then, was going to be cool if I could just get one away. And I remember smoking it, and my body got a bit weird and tingly, and that's all I want to mention about that. met a girl, 16 years of age I was. It's a love song. The song's called Amanda Moo. Isn't that ordinary? But you know the funny thing about it? My mates loved it. They just actually, no one in our group had ever sung before or had a mate that could sing and play guitar. And so at every party, that was my party trick. And, we're only young. And afterwards, I kind of started writing more songs. In this song, I talk about her brown eyes and what she wore and the clothes and very amateur kind of songwriting. But the melody's fantastic. I actually tried to rework it. And I've it's something innocent, naive about not trying to overthink it when you're a young kid trying to write a song. That's, I now overcomplicate songs. I try, it has to be perfect, or the bridge has to be good, or it has to be a pre. But in this song in particular, there was something special about it. So maybe I'll have to revisit that now you've reminded me. Floating down Main Street. Definitely, and if it's not covers, it's about hard work. So no matter what the field is, in the filming industry, being a doctor, a teacher, or what you need to do the hard yards. All the apprentices have to go through it, and I find that the apprenticeship is smacking it out, and the old Aussie bush pubs in front of drunk people, getting into fights, passion in front of you, whatever it is. Because by the time, you're on the way to break through, if you've got a song, which happened to us, we'd done 5 to 10 years of serious cover gig singing and in Rockhampton. And we were ready. So every mistake that could have ever happened to us, anything bad, it had already been done. So by the time we were playing in front of actual people, who were buying tickets to hear our original music, if something went wrong, we just knew we're able to fix it. But I often worry about the young artists that might have a hit that just goes to the top and they haven't played before, because the challenge for them then is to get match fit, on stage. So that's the hardest thing. It just takes time. I've got some huge wish list things, but in Australia, I love Bernard Fenning. I love him as a human being and as a songwriter, and Paul Kelly is right up there for me as the storyteller of all. Dream, you think big, think Bruce Springsteen. How good would it be to sit opposite Bruce Springsteen in a dark room, having a whiskey, just hearing him sing, really, using it as an excuse. Well, I'm bad at quite a few things. I'm horrible at lying. I've always been caught at doing that, so I try not to do it as much these days. But if it's a little white lie, or if it has to be a big lie, telling the old man that I didn't go to mass on a Sunday, as a grown up, I just don't answer the phone on Sundays. Just to make it look like stars. Look how clear that is. How are you, mate?
Got a glass for myself.
Yeah, I'm having a beer.
We've had some pretty crazy times on the road, obviously, and normally it's me being hungover. But can you tell us? Can you tell us about the time that you drank too much eucalyptus oil?
Yeah. I thought you were going to Hobart there, but you've gone to another place.
No, I'll stay away from Hobart.
Yeah. Yeah, I was losing my voice quite regularly, and I was trying to work out, methods. And someone said that Lee Kernaghan said that you put a bit of glucose and a bit of eucalyptus and it gets your throat fixed. And we played this one gig. I went, she'll be right. My voice is gonna be right. And I just had a few scotches too. Put that in there, and by the end of it, I was just ad-libbing. What I didn't realise is that the eucalyptus oil will kill you, and I drank enough to kill you. And I actually only had a couple of scotches, but I woke up in the fetal position, and on the way to the next gig, thought that maybe I couldn't be hungover because I'd only had 2 drinks. Thought I'll be right. It's just vomiting the whole way, all the way from Sydney to Newcastle, and basically I came to, and Jeremy's walking me into a hospital. So I went to a hospital and I had eucalyptus poison because I overdosed on it. And so that's a bit rock and roll. I OD'd. Anyway, the nurses that were looking after me were coming to the gig at Long Jetty that night, but the boys went and set up, but they thought for sure we weren't going to play. I was in a bad state. I was coming in and out, and Anyway, they put me on a drip and I caught a taxi, went straight to the gig and played the gig and rock and roll. Jeremy Maru lives on a boat. All he does is fish, plays music for a living and complains about that. Just lands on his feet, that bloke. The snail has over 1,000 teeth on their tongue. The water, the ocean. My caravan at Fingal. Going on tour, before a big tour. Missy Higgins, don't tell my wife. Frente at the Pilbeam Theatre in Rockhampton. First I bought with my own money. First record was Powderfinger Internationalist. The first record I ever got was Talking Heads and Johnny Diesel, Solid State Rhyme, for a present. They're inappropriate 24/7. But my daughter, there was an old lady down at the shops and her teeth were pretty ordinary, yellow and missing, and she came up and went, "Look, Daddy, she's got bad teeth," as I was having a conversation with her. And couldn't get out of that one. So I Want to Fly. This is a song called Even When I'm Sleeping, and it's by Leonardo's Bride. I've always loved this song, and being stuck indoors and isolated with the family, this is the one I've been singing to my little daughters every night to put them to sleep. I love it. Don't be confused by my apparent lack of ceremony. My mind is clear. I may be low miles high off in the distance, but I want you near. I love you even when I'm sleeping. When I close my eyes, you're everywhere. If they take me flying on the magic carpet, see me where our communication fails and I will reconnect it. I just want to rest. I am sleeping. When I close my eyes, you're everywhere. No matter where the road is leading us, remember, don't be afraid. We have a continent sometimes comes between us, but that's okay, 'cause I love you even when I am sleeping, yeah. When I close my eyes, you're everywhere. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Ooh, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. 'Cause I love you even when I'm sleeping.